Hi and welcome back to my channel. So I'm excited about this week's coaching video because this week I'm going to be sharing with you 20, yes, you heard me right, 20 powerful ways of overcoming fear right now. Because what I don't want you guys to do, for those that it applies to, is to walk around in fear, because fear will keep you from living your best life, you guys, because you're too afraid to step out and do anything. So getting through fear is a skill that anybody can learn, right? The problem is that most people cling to their fears because it's part of who they are. If you aren't ready to face your fears, you probably won't be able to move past them, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, everything happens in its own time. So let's look at some ways that we can deal with fear. Number one, awareness. Before you can begin overcoming fear, you have to be aware of your fears. You got to know what those fears are. It's easy to get so attached to your thoughts and feelings that you think they're all that exists, and that just isn't true. You are not your fears. You are the awareness that experiences it. So you are not your fears, you guys. Number two, identify. Get specific about what exactly it is that you are afraid of. And that's going to mean that you're going to have to get some quiet time to yourself, grab a pen and paper, and start making some notes of the things that you're afraid of, because we all have something that we're afraid of. I'm pretty sure if I thought about it long enough, I probably have something that I'm afraid of, but we just all do. But you've got to identify what that thing or those things are. Number three, curiosity. While curiosity may have killed the cat, it certainly won't do you any harm when investigating your fears. Get curious about what thoughts generate your fear. Where do you feel the fear? Where do you feel the fear, and how do you react to it? Again, be an observer of what is going on. And this is how keeping a journal is perfect. So every time a fear pops up, write down what that fear was, and then also write down how you felt, how you reacted to it. Number four, hypnosis. With hypnosis, you can program the right thoughts into your mind and eliminate negative thoughts and beliefs. This doesn't work for everyone, but it might work for you. Remember, this isn't necessarily about getting rid of your fears, but learning to relate to them in a different way. Because we're all going to have fears at some point in time in our lives. We just want to figure out how to relate to them better. So it doesn't keep us from, again, living your best life. It doesn't keep you from moving forward. Number five, focus on what you are thankful for. Whenever you feel fear, switch it over to what you are grateful for instead. If you're afraid of public speaking, be grateful for the opportunity to communicate with so many people who are there to genuinely listen to what you have to say. I love that. When I saw that, I was like, yes, I love this. So most people have a fear of speaking. Even your most seasoned speakers sometimes have a fear of speaking. They do. You don't see it because they've been doing this for too long. But I promise you, when it's time to go out on that stage and they look out and they see all these people, they do get a little fearful. I can promise you that, because everybody does. And number six, journaling. Getting your fears down on paper is important, because trying to think them through doesn't always work. Let me put a pen right here. Didn't I just tell y'all a few minutes ago, you need to have a journal so you can write these things down. You get caught up in the endless loops of negativity that only lead you further down the rabbit hole and make your life miserable. So start journaling, you guys. Number seven, and that's men too. Don't sit there thinking, oh, I'm a man, I don't need to do that. No, you need to write down too. Number seven, talk about your fears. And that's no-brainer advice, correct? But how often do we hold the negative in because we're afraid of how others might react, or because some other reason? Talking helps, but don't throw a pity party for yourself. See, there's a difference. I said talk about your fears. I didn't say have a pity party, because y'all know if you invite me to your pity party, I'm not coming. So just throw my invitation in the mail. But you can talk with me, and I can dialogue back with you, and we can figure out how to best get you to overcome that. But what I will not do is participate in a pity party. Number eight, therapy. If you can find a good therapist, therapy can be highly beneficial, even life-changing. Finding the right therapist for you can be hard. Listen to your heart and choose someone who resonates with you. Number seven, a life coach. Do you have a fear of success or fear of failure? A good life coach can help you examine what you truly want from life and where your fears are coming from. Let me put a pin right here because you all know that I am a certified life coach. So if ever you feel like you need to sit down and map out what's going on in your life, you know you can always contact me, and I'll be sure to leave my information in the description box. Number 10, take action. Fears are just fears. They are created by the imagination to make reality seem scarier than it is. When you take action and face your fears, they become weaker because you realize that reality isn't nearly as bad as your imagination. So I love the fact that it says fears are just fears. Fears are things that you create in your mind. Fears are the things that I create in my mind. And so when we create it in our mind, it's much scarier than it really is in real life. Number 11. Distract yourself from your fear. Watching a movie or documentary can be as enlightening as reading a book. Sometimes it's nice to distract yourself from your fear, but if you really want to, you can find dozens of movies on the fear you're dealing with. Now, let me just say this. I do have a fear of scary movies, so I am not going to go and watch scary movies. Why? Because I will not sleep good. One of the movies that just actually popped in my mind as I'm talking that scares me half to death is Jeepers Creepers. And it's always that scene where that creepy thing is staring into the back of the school bus. I think it's the second one. And he's staring into the back of the school bus at the kids on the bus. Creepy, creepy, creepy. So no, I am not going to go and look at scary movies because that's not going to help me overcome my fear. What it will do is interfere with my dreams, and I don't have time for that. But I do distract in other ways. I can go and turn on Netflix and look at a Christmas movie, which actually I'm doing as of the last week or so. I have been watching Christmas movies, something that just kind of warms your heart. So you do what you have to do. I'm just telling you, I'm not going to go and watch scary movies. Moving on. Number 12, think positively. Whenever fear strikes, flip it over. Instead of thinking of something bad that can happen, think of something positive. What's a positive outcome to your fear? If you're thinking about public speaking, imagine yourself being wildly successful instead of failing horribly. Let me put a pin right here. I don't know about you guys, but when I think about speaking to a nice big room full of people, I think about success. I think about the people hanging on to my every word. You hear what I'm saying? And I think about them getting something out of what I'm sharing with them. I don't think about failing. I think about success. Number 13, put things in perspective. Learning to deal with fear is all about putting your negative thoughts in perspective. We tend to focus too much on the negative, so by looking at all the options, you often realize that you're making a big deal over nothing. There are so many things that can happen that it's impossible for you to predict it, right? Number 14, release control. We want to learn how to control fear. We want predictability, even though it's impossible to get. Where we don't have control, we experience fear. But it's possible to is it possible to ever have control? Even if you can swim, you can drown. A professional guitar player can still make mistakes, and butcher a gig. Give up the illusion of control and you're free. And this is something that I have definitely had to work on, because if you know me, then you know I can be a bit of a control freak, you guys. And I do fear the things that sometimes I can't control, but I'm learning how to let that go. Number 15, figure out what the meaning is. I believe we all go through things for a reason, and I certainly do believe that. That includes the fears we have. It also includes overcoming fear and learning the lessons that come out of it. This may not be the case 100% of the time. But when I look back at the challenges and fears in my life, I see that more often than not, they delivered exactly the message I needed at the time. Number 16, pray. I actually should have made this number 1. But in all things, pray without ceasing. I love that. Pray for guidance on how to start overcoming your specific fear. Prayer is very similar to meditation. In the end, it doesn't matter what you choose as long as it works for you. Me, I'll take prayer over meditation anytime. Number 17, practice yoga. Energy can get trapped in your body. When you do yoga and you breathe, that energy can be released. Sometimes you released parts of your fears, or you might even find that you dropped a few fears without even noticing after a few months of yoga. Yoga is so relaxing. I used to teach a basic hatha yoga class, you guys. And I think I shared with you before that I used to teach it also for a senior class at a senior assisted living home. And those people were just the sweetest. And because they couldn't get on the floor, when it was time to do the corpse pose at the end, I told them just to kind of relax in their wheelchairs and just kind of slouch down in the chair, let their arms fall to the side, and let their head just fall back and just relax. Honey, those folks were knocked out by the time I got ready to leave. So each week, the attendant that was in the room, she would just say, don't worry about it, go ahead on, I'll wake them up in a little bit. Super cute. But yes, yoga is definitely a great way to just relax and de-stress. Number 18, ask what your purpose is. Your feelings are there to tell you something. Ask what the purpose of them is. Ask your heart, ask God, ask the universe, or whatever you feel comfortable with. What are your fears trying to tell you? And honey, God and I talk all the time. And when a fear pops up, I said, all right, Lord, now, I'm stressing about this thing, and this is kind of bothering me. What is it that you want me to get out of that? Okay, number 19, understand and embrace your failure. When you realize that failure is not the end of the world, you become free. Failure is just a stepping stone to success, and most of our fears are fear of failure, shame, or somehow not living up to the standards society has put up for us. So you've got to understand it and then embrace it and then move on. Number 20, last but certainly not least, find the root of your fear. Or if you have more than one, find the roots of those fears. What is the root of your fear? This may require some meditation. Look inside and ask yourself when the fear started. If you're afraid of public failure, for example, when did this happen? Were you shamed in public when you were younger? Because see, there's a reason why you have these fears, and sometimes you really have to sit back, think, and go back a little ways to figure out where this fear is coming from, because it didn't just pop up. Okay, it's coming from somewhere. So let's do a quick recap, and I promise I'll let you be. So in order to overcome your fear right now, number one, awareness. You've got to become aware of your fear so that you can move past it. Number two, identify. Get specific about what it is that you're afraid of. Number three, curiosity. Number four, hypnosis. Number five, focus on what you're thankful for. Stop focusing on the things that may or may not happen, because they may not. Focus on what you're thankful for. Number six, journaling. Get your fears down on paper. When you put it on paper, you see it and it sticks with you more. Number seven, talk about your fears. Let me go back. It sticks with you more, and you can work on getting rid of those fears because you're actually looking at it. Number seven, talk about your fears. Talk about it with God, with a therapist, with a best friend, whoever it is that you trust the most. Talk about it. Heck, if you have to talk about it with yourself, doesn't matter. As long as you don't answer back, you're good. Number eight, therapy. Number nine, get you a life coach. I am a certified life coach. You can always reach out to me. Let's set up some sessions for you. Number 10, take action. Number 11, distract yourself from your fear. Put in a good movie, watch the Hallmark Channel, go to the gym, whatever it is that helps you distract from that. Number 12, think positively. And I want you guys to do this all the time. You should always be thinking positively. Number 13, put things in perspective. Number 14, release control. I know that's hard for some of us, but you have to do it. Number 15, figure out what the meaning is. Number 16, pray. Pray and pray without ceasing. You pray and you pray and you pray. Pray every day. Pray several times a day. But you must pray. Number 17, practice yoga. Great way to de-stress and really relax and focus on what's going on with you internally. And number 18, ask what your purpose is. I always do that. Lord, what is the purpose for this happening to me at this point? Number 19, understand and embrace your failure. And last but not least, 20, find the roots of your fear. I'm sorry. Did I say failure? Yeah, number 19 was understand and embrace your failure. Number 20, find the roots of your fear or your fears. Because I promise you, they are coming from somewhere. You didn't just wake up one morning and said, oh my God, I have this fear. No, that fear is coming from somewhere, and only you know what that is. So you really got to be in tune with who you are, and you have to think back a ways because it's coming from somewhere. That's all I have for you guys this week. Thank you so much to my newest subscribers. Thank you so much to those of you that continue to support me. I love you guys to the moon and back because I couldn't do it without you.